lot of communities in Quebec, as elsewhere, traditional music is the music that holds the community together. My research focuses on traditional music in Quebec, what you might call folk music. Douglastown was historically an Anglophone community, although there was a small Francophone population as well. And like many villages in the Gaspe, in the second half of the 20th century, with the decline of the fishing and the lumber and the mining industries, there was a lot of out-migration. A lot of the culture of the village, which had been based around music and dance to a large extent, was shifting, and that somehow had not gotten transmitted to the next generation. There was a sense, I think, in the community that if they didn't document what the culture had been in the village, in 20 years there wouldn't be anybody left to document it. But that maybe in documenting it there would be a resurgence of interest.
This is very, very delicate, so I'm trying my best not to break it.
This tape, I think, is 1968. All of his tapes were in late 60s, possibly the early 70s.
Go ahead.
I think when we listen to these recordings from Douglastown and talk to people in the community, we can see how music is something that can hold a community together. Yeah, this is like a kitchen party. They're doing the dance, and Bernard's calling the dance.
Nice.
In Douglastown, this music was popular in the sense that it was everywhere. It was played at house parties, and house parties were often in people's kitchens. They would take all the chairs and the table outside and put them outside, and then they would have a dance in the kitchen, and they would sing. They would each have their individual song that they were known for singing, and others might join in on the chorus.
She sailed far away o'er the dark rolling foam, far away from the hills.
You also see some of the traditional divisions in society being crossed by the music. So, of course, in Quebec, there's a lot of issues around language, and Douglastown was primarily an Anglophone community. And in the music, you see Francophones and Anglophones both playing the same repertoire, knowing each other through music making, and friendships forming through music making. Music enabled that sort of coming together. There's two of us co-producing the CD, myself and Glenn Patterson, who's a PhD student at Memorial University in Newfoundland. So the CD includes quite a diverse repertoire. We really tried to paint a picture of musical life in Douglastown.
The project was initiated by the Community Center 4 years ago. Laura and Glenn generously spent hundreds of hours pursuing research, doing other interviews, selecting and describing the music for the CD. Douglastown is doubly privileged to have them as friends.
It's through these interviews that future generations can come to appreciate the richness of the music experienced here.
Today you see lots of people walking around with their headphones on, listening to music, and music has become something that we consume and less of something that we make within a community. Music is a particularly effective, strong, meaningful way of building community and maintaining community. And if we don't have community in our life, then we don't have very much, do we? Traditional music is much more about getting involved, and I love that.